call the Greensburg City Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. And to comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants at this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table at the back of the room. I would also ask that at this time you silence any electronic devices and rise as we get the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, would you call the roll, please?
Roy?
Here.
Steve Raymer?
Here.
Steve Hamilton?
Here.
Richard?
Here.
Christian? Present.
Hearing that everyone is present and accounted for, I ask that if you had a chance to look over the minutes from the July meeting, they're in your book. And if there's any corrections or adjustments that need to be made, please note them at this time. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion we approve the July 2018 minutes.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, they stand approved. Moving along to new business. Decatur County Jail requesting an exemption, a special exemption for a modular facility. Ron?
Good evening. I am pinch hitting for Kathy this evening. She has come up with some lame excuse about having laryngitis and can't talk. And I have no idea what I'm talking about, so good luck with this, guys. It is a request for a special exemption to install a modular facility at the existing jail site. Beyond that, I really can't offer you too much, but perhaps we have some representatives here, and maybe there's someone that can tell you exactly what they're asking for.
Please state your name for the record, please.
My name is Tony Blodgett. I'm the jail commander at Decatur County Jail. I have with me Chris Grabowski from Maxwell Enterprises, Maxwell Construction, and I've got Commissioner Rick Nobby here with us also. So basically what we're asking for is a correctional grade modular facility to be added to the current premises of the Decatur County Jail. So the reason that we're asking for that is the Decatur County Jail is grossly overpopulated. As of July 2018, our average daily population is 119 inmates. We surged up into the 130s upon occasion. That's about 180% of our standard basic operating capacity that's set by the state of Indiana, which is 66. The courts and the prosecutors are currently controlling our inmate population by releasing inmates that they would not normally release. We are constantly in conversation between myself, the judges, and the prosecutors on who we can release to help control the overflow and the overcapacity of the jail. Our community corrections department, home detention, work release, probation, are all having reduced operations and capabilities to do their jobs effectively due to the overcrowding, because they can't put people in the jail for violating the terms of their conditions. The new correctional facility that we have gotten approved already to build isn't estimated to be occupied until July of 2020. Construction's hopeful to be done in January, and then 6 months to occupancy with the training and the planning and the painting and the finishing work to get us into that, which is a permanent solution to our current problem. We have worked diligently through the last 6 to 8 months trying to find other jails to house for us. We utilized Switzerland County for a while. They then told us we had to come get everybody because they were overcrowded. We utilized Dearborn County at a cost of $45 a day, which is higher than most counties. And they told us to come get everybody because they were overcrowded. We haven't been able to locate any current counties anywhere in the state of Indiana that will take anybody for us. So we've gone all the way to LaGrange. We called this morning to see if they would take any of our sentenced inmates, and they refused to take them for us. So with all that, I've been trying to find solutions that we can get through to get us through to the 2020 timeline. The modular correction facility, we looked at 2 different companies. The first company we looked at was a company called All Detainment Solutions. Through that process, I found another company, which is Eagle Modular, who's we've sort of picked to kind of move forward with. The price difference between the two was substantial, almost $4 million between the two of them. So we went with the Eagle Modular. We came up with two proposed locations for the jail. We really prefer location 1 in the proposal. It's going to be on the west end of the parking lot, closest to the Greensburg Fire Department, or Greensburg Police Department and Fire Department now. There's no residence directly adjacent to that. It's surrounded by either the rail tracks, parking lots, or their own jail facilities there, which is why we tried to pick that specifically. Here's an example of what the modular things come up with. When you think modulars, you kind of think temporary, poorly built, going to fall apart, kind of what we all think of. So this is literature from Eagle Detention. That's a modular they put actually down in like the Cayman Islands. They shipped it down on ships, moved it around with cranes. And that's an example of what the outside of one could look like. Here's another example of one. It's with an existing correctional facility, fenced in, their modulars put in. It's the same type of construction as what we're requesting to have put on the grounds of Decatur County Jail. Another example of this is in Pillman. This is actual construction pictures that want to get put together. So I called Eagle specifically and spoke to them when we had concerns or questions about how well are they built, right? Are people going to get out of them? It's an all steel construction. Everything's welded, nothing's bolted together until the actual pieces come together and then they're bolted together. But the rest of the modular, each section is welded. They're 10 feet wide by 40 feet long and they weigh 10 tons. They're 100% steel construction, except for the floors. The floors are made out of plywood for the bottom layer so that the rubber can be glued to it, and then there's steel on top of that. Here's another picture of the inside of one that's being built there. They have the windows, and again, everything is welded into place and done with that. Here's a picture of them being placed into place on a construction site. It's a permanent foundation that's set in and put into it, and then they're bolted to that foundation and done. Now, I'll open for any questions. I know it's kind of short and sweet. I really want to answer any questions that you guys have. We have the presentation that Maxwell gave to Board of Planning several weeks ago that I know you guys were looking over just prior to the meeting, so kind of open the floor for any questions that you may have.
How many prisoners will this modular hold?
The ones that we've looked at is supposed to hold 48.
24 in each one.
24 on each side. So it's one large modular building. So if we zoom in here and look. So if we look at the floor plans itself of the building that we're wanting to have them construct for us, it's broken down into two sides. There's a main dividing wall that goes here between the two sides, and then there's a security officer here that's manned 24/7. There'll be a single officer in that, and he will sit in there and he will look out both sides of a glass window and be able to monitor the inmates. He'll be in constant radio contact with anybody in the building, so the locality of having it closed keeps our remaining costs down from that. There's a vestibule, or what we call a sally port in the corrections world. When they enter into this, they will go into basically a zone where they can't get in or get out, and then they will be allowed to enter into that area. So it's secure just like a correctional facility would be. There's 4 bathrooms in it, one of which is an ADA compliant, along with 3 showers in there. So it'll be fully self-contained within that unit. All of everything will be in there. Only times they'll move out is to go to recreation or courts or any of the stuff they would have to do within the building.
So this modular, all this does is alleviating the overcrowding of the jail, but not really allowing any more prisoners.
It's going to give us the ability to handle the overcrowding. So,
Well, if you're running 48 over now,
yes, it's not going
that's
to...
all that's going to hold.
Correct. It's not going to make it to where we're not overcrowded. It's going to make it to where we can manage the current and future overcrowding.
When's the new jail supposed to be built?
July 2020.
How long does this take to get put in?
We're being told it can be done in 6 months.
And will the entire building be fenced in then, like we saw in that picture?
So what we've considered is both of those options. The first option is fencing the entire building in and coming across. The other option, as you can see in one of the pictures in the thing, is putting barbed wire across the top of the buildings and around here so that we don't have a fence and barbed wire close to the sidewalks, and then running a fence from this point here across and then down this side. That again keeps us from being too close to the thing, keeps fencing from coming from it, doesn't have anybody on the fences, and it also allows us to fence in this area for any fire evacuation or anything we need to do to move them into the jail if there's an emergency within that section of the jail.
So in other words, you can move them into the other jail within a fenced area?
Yes.
And you'll have sanitary and sewer hooked up to the city, with the water and sewer?
That is the plan,
hooked up to
sir.
the city. What provisions are you gonna make once the new jail's done to remove this?
I think we're still under decisions on how we are going to utilize these afterwards. We've talked with Tim Tobin with Eagle Industries. He currently has 5 or 6 people bidding on a modular facility just like ours, and he is certain that if we choose to resell or sell that off the property, that is something that we would be able to do.
Well, then if you have to put a foundation and everything in under these, will you, when you move these, will you remove these foundations and return the lot back to blacktop lot?
I think a lot of that depends on what we decide to do with the property itself.
I would think so. I think there's some unknowns that we've got. And, you know, along with the jail conversation that we've had from the beginning, we've often talked about rehabilitation center, treatment type center, things like that. So that could open up a door or avenue for that. If we would choose to rehab the old jail, the temporary facility may need to be there for a year or however long it would take to rehab that. There's just a lot of those unknowns in there. You know, as Tony stated before, he's checked with a lot of other counties for extra jail space, and there's none available. I did get a call back from Brown County today. They said if everything fell into place perfectly, they might be able to take 10 of our people. But that's still probably 2 months away from that really happening.
Well, I appreciate the overcrowding. I just wanted to make sure that once the new jail's done, that we don't leave a facility down there that's unsightly. And
Oh, no, we would not do that. As long as the 3 commissioners are still the 3 commissioners at that time, our goal is to not do that. We want downtown Greensburg to be what we all want it to be. I really don't know that these will be unsightly.
well, I mean,
They'll be-
after it was moved.
And that was another part of our decision. All the Taman solution is legitimately tractor trailer semis that they come in, they move together with forklifts, they remove the walls, and they bolt them together. And aesthetically, that's not what I wanted there. Take away the cost of it. I didn't even present all the Taman solution to the commissioner because with the cost and the way it looked, it just wasn't something that I thought we would want.
There's been some discussion about possibility of moving those facilities to our new site, to add space to the new site. That's not been fully vetted yet, but I don't think there is a real desire to do that. We're gonna expand the new site. I think we'd like to look at building permanent structure there. And as Tony indicated, in the work I do, we'll sell a guy a new seed treater and it's $50,000–$60,000. You know, he'll use it for 5 years and then he'll sell it. We'll find somebody else down the road to buy that used piece of equipment. I think the same thing holds true with this. That at some point, when the dollars get right, there'll be people wanting to purchase these down the road. I think that's what we're being told.
Can I ask what the life expectancy is of the modular facility?
They told me the life expectancy is 20 years. That's basically based off the roof. They've given us a 10-year deformation policy or warranty on it, so they guarantee that it won't deform over a 10-year period, and that includes if we decide to move it from one location, in other words, afterwards.
And I think they told us that the new jail should contain enough beds to house everybody for 20 years. And these will only last 20 years. So
And I think there's some of us in agreement that we're not, our current pace of housing people is, we're looking a little short of 20 years for that. The heroin epidemic is causing a much larger rise in our inmate population than what anyone could have predicted.
okay, Roy, I have a question. They're requesting a special exemption just for the modular facility, so.
Correct.
I mean, it has nothing to do with setbacks, it has nothing to do with anything else, it's just whether we want
Whether we want
Let
to
them
put it there or not.
two modular, or just one.
It's
modular.
just one facility.
It's one facility, but it's multiple.
Multiple housing units.
There's modules within that.
Okay, so when you book a prisoner, walk me through how you're gonna get them into that modular facility.
So
On option A, or one, as you call it. Yeah, right there.
So this is our current Sally Port where we drop all prisoners off and drive them into here. Again, we'll have this area of the facility fenced in.
It
We'll
will
cross.
be fenced in.
Yes, that's my fence.
No, tell me.
I'm not the final decision authority.
If it
Yeah.
needs to be fenced in, we will fence it in.
Run a fence across here, and then down the side, and then there'll be a covered walkway at minimum that will come from an exterior door that comes out of the Sally Port and down to here so that we can walk them down to that. But there will not be access for them to just run off without having to climb a 10-foot fence or climb the side of the building, which will
Okay,
have
and
a
this-
walkway on it.
This will be closed off on the north end of the.
Yes, sir.
So
100% containment.
And then you can get emergency vehicles up through the gate?
The
that's
big
gonna have a
pla-
gate,
Yep, that the big plan
fence?
for the offset on the fence is to have it big enough for a fire truck to be able to park here and not be in the street.
Okay.
And we can make any adjustments. With the door being here to get into it, we can run 10 foot out here and then come down and then come across. So the fire truck length can come all the way up here if it needs to, which it's not gonna come up that far. You know, we can still get them in there and have the walk area from this facility to there completely fenced in.
Okay, I like option A or one better than I do B. I don't like putting it on the east end of the building. I think it's too close to the sidewalk, too close to the street, it's too close to housing.
Any other questions from board members? Tony?
Is there anybody here? We got a letter from somebody stating.
Sending this into the.
Right, I'll ask for participation from the
Okay.
audience when I know you guys are done.
Yeah.
Is there anyone from the audience here to speak on this petition? Okay, we did receive a letter, an email, I guess it was, from a particular individual, Emma Shaver, who lived across the street on South Franklin. I think most of on the question she has about property values and property taxes, there's no way that anybody here can answer those questions for her. I wouldn't think that this is gonna make any difference than the jail being there now, but again, I'm no expert in that area. And most of the other questions are addressed. agree, Steve, I agree. That should take care of most of her concerns, I would think. If there's no more, nothing from the audience and no more questions from the board. Yes, Mayor.
Hey, I think this is pretty necessary, something that we're gonna need for our community. The only concern I have is I would like to see us put a time frame, 3 to 4 years, then we make a decision on what we're gonna do with these. If they're gonna stay, I don't think, they should be staying. I don't think they should be going to the new jail. So that's my thing, is I would like to see added into maybe, yes, we can do this, but it's for a period of time. These are temporary pieces of equipment. So that's the way I look at the thing. But I think it is very necessary, it's high in the line. I think this may help us alleviate some of our problems down right now. So.
Yeah.
Well, if I understand right, if it was moved to the new jail, they'd have to come for us again anyway in order to move to the new jail. It's not,
Yes.
so we put a stipulation on time.
Chris, can we put a stipulation on time?
I think so, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify with you.
I'll ask this and we'll do what you all want, but if you do put a stipulation on time, would you consider, say your time is 4 years, having the opportunity to come back and address the board? Because we don't really know what rehabilitation and what the system will look like down the road. So if we would have that option, that maybe leaves a crack in the door to allow us to manage the system a little bit.
Well, I think since it has a 20-year supposed life expectancy on this building, I would think that as far as the stipulation goes, we would put that on there more or less only if it wasn't being used for something. If I know there's been a lot of talk, I've been to a bunch of meetings too, about using the existing jail as some kind of like a transitional living center, a place for people that have drug problems to go to get the help that they need. So I don't know if we want to put a total limitation on it other than just, I don't want to see it set empty and fall into disuse. But
Yeah, well, what about if we put a shorter term on it, and then where they would have to come back and tell us what's gonna happen?
I think that'd be fine. Would you guys be comfortable with 5 years and then they can come back?
I think the new jail's supposed to be open in 2.
Right, and that gives plenty of time.
So how about if we just go 2 years after they open that, they should have some idea of what's
2
gonna
years
happen
after the new jail
after
opens.
the new jail opens.
Is that good for you guys? All right, so I'll entertain a motion that we approve this with a limitation of 2 years after the new jail opens, if somebody make that motion.
And we're making that motion for option A.
Correct.
Not option
Correct.
B.
Not option
Okay.
B, this would be option A.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept option A with the stipulation that it will have to be revisited 2 years after the completion of the new jail.
After it's occupied,
Right.
after the new jail's occupied.
Yeah,
So in July 2022.
probably, yes.
Correct.
A target.
Is that what you mean, Steve? I didn't name that right, but
that's
after
exactly.
it's occupied.
2 years after the new jail's occupied,
Yeah.
then it would have to be revisited if they wanna look at what they wanna do.
All right, I'd like to throw the complete fencing around the old modular facility
Yeah.
in there also.
Okay, add that to it too. Yeah, I think that's good.
I'll second that
So
motion.
wait a minute, we need to make that probably a height wise too on the fencing. I mean, we just don't wanna pick a
Well, I
fence,
think-
put it
I
There's a
around.
think
standard that you have
10-foot height.
for the
Is
jail.
it,
right?
is there a,
So as a part of the discussion, I'll run this as an option for you. If you look at this picture from Eagle Modular, this is kind of somewhat of my vision on how to do the exterior fencing, is to put the barbed wire across the top of the building. So you wouldn't have a fence necessarily, except for on certain sides. Does that
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because they can't get to
But
the-
the rest
Right, it
of
would be a metal wall,
Yeah.
10, 12 feet high, whatever it is, with barbed wire around the top. And that takes care of or alleviates some offset issues that there may be, because we don't have the 10 feet from the offset plus 10 feet from the fence to the building.
Yeah, so you're 10 feet from that, from
But
the
it will
wall.
be fenced,
Up.
any place in a building can be exited.
Correct. So if we go back to this picture. And I'll zoom in just a little more. My vision will be to run a fence from this edge of the building to the corner of the building here. This is a maintenance entrance, and then run barbed wire all around the top of the building, around to this side, and down however far we need to get past here so that there's no offset issues. And then bring that across to the opposite side of the entrance driveway, however far we need to ensure that we can get at least a fire truck into that area. And then they would be able to access or come in. We also have, if there's emergency issues, of course, we'll also have alley access here that ambulances can get to if we need to. And then that fence would run just across here then and then down to the corner of this building, if that's acceptable. We can certainly do fence all the way around.
Yeah, just, we might be out toward the sidewalk
It
there.
would make it easier to mow and.
Right, it'd make it a lot
Nice.
easier, and go across the top of the building, I think we've accomplished the same thing.
And part of the issues with putting a fence all the way around, if they do get out and we can get inmates into this area and pick up contraband, another bonus to having right across from the Greensburg Police Department is there's constantly police officers driving back and forth.
Yeah.
That's a much busier street. So putting contraband out, trying to pass stuff back and forth, being monitored by the public a lot more, also by Greensburg police officers will be able to help us with that. So if that satisfies the board's terms of fencing, that's kind of what my vision was for that.
But I know that's his, I know that's his vision, but I don't know that that's,
Well, we won't know, the architect, the commissioners will have to pay the final bill on this, I guess. So I'm hoping that you'll agree to do the fencing as requested.
I wouldn't know why we would.
I agree.
I mean, it's,
yeah, I think.
it ends up being taxpayer dollars. I mean, it's not the commissioners, it's not,
Right,
we don't have any money, it's
Yeah.
their money, so
Yeah.
Right.
we have to.
Then I'll make the new motion. We accept option A to be revisited 2 years after the completion and occupancy of the new jail, with the fencing option, with the barbed wire around the top of the building, and fencing across the driveway and down the side, be a 10-foot high fence. Is there anything
Plus.
else?
and that one little section up there where the two
That one
buildings,
little section, yeah.
where the maintenance door is, that'd be fenced up there too.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. John, will you call the roll, please?
Roy,
Yes?
Stevie, Rimmer,
Yes.
Steve Hamilton,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Thank you. Good to go.
Thank you, sir.
The next item of business, Robert Benefiel, 903 East North Street, requesting a variance for front yard setback. Please state your name for the record.
Robert Benefiel.
I'm Connie Benefiel. Our daughter moved back home with us. She brought her kid. Seemed to be a little overcrowded. So we are trying to put some modulars in to make more room to where we got more room away from kids and everything.